and welcome to our presentation tonight. As you know from the briefing you've received, we're talking tonight about our results for the 4-year period past, and basically talking to you about how the company is currently performing, where we see ourselves in the next few years, and how to achieve sustainability. So just to begin with, I'm Liam Sygrave.
I'm Ben Fortes.
I'm Jordan Anderson.
So we'll start off by going through the objectives, and from there we'll go more into detail, and then eventually we'll finish up with sustainability and what we recommend for the next few years. So let's begin with our core objective. So we focused on raising our share price, starting it off from $40 and trying to get it to $100 by the end of the 4-year period. Obviously, when we're talking about share prices with our shareholders, the main thing they're concerned about is how much dividends are they going to be paid out. So this is why we made this our core focus. And being that we were looking to hand over the company after the 4-year period, we wanted to increase that share price. So we started off at $40 and set ourselves a target for the end of the 4-year period. We'll talk about where we ended up at the end of that period and go into more detail, but we'll first go on through the other objectives. So, in terms of financial, we set the following objectives: gross margin, return on equity, sales, cumulative dividends per share from base year, and cumulative earnings per share from base year. Which brings us to our next slide, in customer. So in regards to customer, we wanted to have customers ranking our company as best in class in quality. We saw this as a necessity when we were going in the topic of luxury. We thought we need to be the top when it comes to quality. OEMs rating company as desirable partner. We saw, once again, this relates to the luxury segment, and we needed to maintain being the highest in that sort of quality. Customers who view company as innovative. So as I mentioned, we were really targeting the innovation market. So it would be really pointless to be targeting the innovation market and not be seen as the most innovative. So we really set this benchmark for ourselves to be seen as innovative and to attract the customers under that aspect. Which brings us to our last one for customers, R&D partnerships with luxury customers. So we'll go into more of that in detail, but moving on to the next one, which was internal process. So in regards to internal process, we set the objectives of department budgets linked to balanced scorecard initiatives, R&D employees trained in innovation processes, new technology innovations license, and products with leading performance. Which brings us to our final topic of learning and growth, where we set ourselves the objectives of products using decision analysis and strategy maps, technology products trends identified, R&D tools considered state-of-the-art, once again going back to that innovation target, and R&D engineers trained on latest technology, which obviously is a necessity when you're targeting R&D to have the best individuals trained in the best R&D processes. So we'll now dive into the results and these areas more clearly.
The Signal Corporation utilised the financial perspectives and financial metrics as gross margin, return on equity, and sales. So as you can see, we were able to achieve an increase in gross margin from the period of 0, the starting period, to 8, of 96 million to 218 million. More than doubling. The return on equity, we were able to achieve from the period 0 to 8, increase from 2.45% up to 13.32%. So this return on equity, on average, based on the other competitors in the year of 2012, we were able to achieve almost 30% more based on that average. The sale period from 0 to 8 was from 480 million starting off to 905 million. Now this increase was due to all the initiatives we chose throughout the process. We chose for Delta Signal Corporation to achieve its goals were customer perspective based, new technology customer trade show, innovative trade marketing program, partner trade marketing campaign, R&D partnerships initiative, and customer goal sharing initiative. So over the consistent period from 0 to 8, we were able to utilise initiative trade marketing program, new technology customer trade show, partner trade marketing campaign, and R&D partnership initiative. During the periods 0 to 4, we didn't see anything in regards to the sharing initiative or customer base. So we were able to, in period 4, implement an increased finances of $2 million into customer goal sharing initiative. So on the customer trade show, we weren't receiving any benefits from implementing finances into that. So from the period 6, we decided not to go ahead and provide any funding in that area. Next. Based on internal processes. So we were able to go through and choose the Managing of Innovators training, R&D initiative, wear-resistant parts, R&D process efficiency initiatives, R&D program risk assessments, R&D applying leading edge technologies, supply pipeline for innovation program. So all of these internal processes were surrounded by initiatives that were around innovation. Within the internal processes, we chose to sustain with the same throughout on a lot of them. We did this because we wanted the continuity over the whole process. Now, as you can see, we've chosen to go with Managing Innovators training throughout the whole time, the R&D initiative wear-resistant parts, the applying leading edge technologies. Now, during the period 1 to 4, we were able to provide finances into R&D process efficiency initiatives and R&D program risk assessments. After that period, we were not finding we were able to gain anything from that, so we decided to eliminate those and then decided to insert our funds back into the technology licensing initiatives. The learning and growth initiatives we were able to choose were a balanced scorecard communication program, monitoring technological product trends, R&D engineer training, R&D equipment upgrades, and research tech planning tools upgrade. So, through the trends within the learning and growth, as you can see, we're able to explicitly use funds for R&D engineer training, R&D equipment upgrades throughout the whole time. Within the monitoring and technological products initiative, we decided to stop that at period 7, transitioning more into research and tech planning tools upgrade.
Okay, so now if you have a look at our balanced scorecard, we have all our objectives for the financial, customer, internal processes, and learning and growth. So I'll touch on financial later in this presentation. At the moment, I just want to focus on customer, internal processes, and learning and growth. I'm going to touch on customer. At the moment, we're focusing on innovation. So we really spent a lot of money throughout the thing in innovation, and as you can see, MC11, customers who view the company as innovative. At this period 0, we're at 15%. We've then spent a lot of our financial on innovation. As you can see, we've had a large jump to 52%. Subsequently after that, 65, 72, 74, 76, and then we've sort of plateaued out as we've focused on spending money on our customers. As our products are innovative, we've also wanted to be the leading performance in the market. MP14 shows that we start off with 10% in leading performance. As we've spent that money in innovation, we've jumped to 43% straight away in period 1. Period 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 plateaued out at 61 to 68.6%. This shows that the customers do view us as having leading performance. As with internal processes, we're going to touch on MP8, R&D employees trained in innovation processes. Like I said before, innovation is a big thing for our company. So we've spent a lot of money initially in training our employees to be the leading innovation. As you can see, we start off with 5% with employees trained in innovation processes. We've then jumped up to 22, 29, 34, 36, and plateaued at 37%. Next with that, MP14 shows products with leading performance. The company, as a company, we want to be seen as one that's ahead of the other competitors. As a result, as we've spent the money on innovation, we've jumped from 10% to 43% in period 1, and then by period 8, we've got up to 66%. Growth, as you can see here in our slide, ML15, RD tools considered state of the art. We've started at 20% in period 0. As we've spent a lot of money on our innovation, we've jumped up straight away to 67%. It's quite a large jump of 47%. Period 2, once again, we did jump to 80%, and then we plateaued out a little bit to 84%. This shows that as a company, we've really put in for innovation to make sure that our employees are trained and using this innovation to the best of their knowledge. ML16 touches on that point as R&D engineers trained on the latest technology jumps from 20 to 49% and then goes up to 75%. So that's saying that 3 in every 4 staff members at our company are trained on the latest technology for research and development. Next, I'll be talking to you about financials, in which we can touch on in a more specific manner. Okay, our financial sales. We start off at $480 million at the start. Period 1, $493 million, and then we've just gone up from there. By the end of period 8, we've got up to $905 million as a company in sales. It's doubled, basically doubled by the end of our 8 periods. I'm just going to touch on gross margin of the company. Period 0 started at $96 million, and we've slowly progressed up through period 2 and 3. Not much of a jump. Period 4, we got extra $20 million from period 3, and then it sort of stayed at that $20 million mark each period. We finished off in period 8 as $217,618,889, which is more than double our gross margin at the start. So the net income of the company basically touches on what Geordie said before. It's all calculated risk for innovation. So as a company, we've decided to spend the money on innovation on the judgment that we believed we'll be able to turn our expenses into a net income in the end of it. As you can see, period 0, we start off with a $9 million net income. We've spent big in innovation. Now we went in deficit for our net income for the next 2 periods. Not good for the company, but we knew we had hope, and we knew our innovation was going to pay off in the end. As you can see, from period 3, we started to get profit, and we've just jumped each week since. We ended up with $40 million net income. As per our net income, as you can see here for our return on equity, at the start we started at 2.95%. We then did drop to minus 1.39%. Once again, period 3, we dropped again to 0.21%. And then we did see that rise in return on equity as our net income went up. By the end of the period 8, we were fortunate enough to get a 13.32% return on equity, which is quite good for our company. By looking at our competitors' statistics and financials, we're able to see that the return on equity was negative 14% across the board of our competitors. This shows that by 2014 for us, we had a 13.32% return on equity, which is much greater than our competitors as we outperform them through our initiative, research development, and through focusing on our customers. Now we get to the most important one, our value per share. As a company, we started period 0 with $40 share price. As you can see, period 1, we did drop. Like our net income, like our return on equity, we did drop. But we kept reinforcing the notion that our innovation, research and development, and customers would be fortunate enough to see that our products were quite good and that we were able to turn around this deficit. Period 3, we turned to $43, so which was an increase from our period 0. We then went up to $53, $66. By period 6, we're up to $84, and then we did see great jumps in the end of $20 per period. By period 7, we're $104.05, and we finished off with $123.59 was our value per share.
So this brings us to the final review. So as my colleagues mentioned, at first we started to see a loss in the areas that we invested in. However, this was a calculated risk that we knew would pay off if we stuck to our guns and continued with the innovation. Our competitors, where they were investing in areas of cheaper parts and better prices for the customer, we saw an opportunity here. Due to most of our highly competitors investing in this area, it left a big area in the area of the luxury market. So rather than try and do what all our competitors were doing, we decided to focus on the area of luxury and innovation, something at Delta Signal we'd always done in the past. We figured that what would be the point of straying from what we've always done and done well to going in to try and compete with our competitors on an area where they were already controlling. So we focused on the area that we knew that we could beat them in, which is why at first we did see an initial loss because we did put a lot of investment into this R&D. However, like I said, it was a calculated risk and we knew that through that investment, if we waited, that would eventually pay off, which from the results my colleagues have presented to you, it surely did. As we started off at an original share price of $40, and by the end, our final period was $123.59. So like I've previously mentioned at the very start, our initial target was to reach $100. The fact that we not only were able to meet this target, but exceed it, we were extremely happy with this as we met our overall target. Yes, there were areas that there are definitely room for improvement in, but we see this as an area of opportunity. It's not a thing of negatives, it's a thing of positives. We're constantly moving up the ladder, and if we continue to do this, we will continue to see the dividends, as our shareholders have currently been seeing. So that brings me to a few recommendations. So to start off with, we want to continue in the innovation area, to continue to invest in that research and development. Being that it's what's gotten us to this point, there's no point straying from it now. This would be like if Apple started to stay away from innovation. It's just not going to happen. Rather than go for cheap products, you stay at that premium level. You're renowned for it and you maintain that. So that's at Delta Signal, that's what we want to continue. But that is what's leading to our increased share price. From here, we'll also focus on customers. Being that we are seen now as innovators and we are seeing the profits that, the way to not only maintain those profits, but to increase them is to really focus on that customer base. So like I said, with the Apple example, I think they're a very good example because like us, they're in the market of innovation. So as a professional business, not only should we be looking at what we do well, but we should be looking at what others do well. And being that that is one of the most profitable companies in the world, we're going to take something from their books and say, let's focus on customers. Let's focus on not only being able to keep our current customers, but to secure new customers. And by having that fierce brand loyalty, we can continue to move our way up in the market. We can continue to move up being market leaders. Because whilst we are competing in a different area with luxury, we are still competing with a number of those competitors. Even though they might be targeting the cheaper and the better prices, eventually we're all in the same market. So we need to continue to target that. And if we can secure that fierce brand loyalty, we can continue to drive the premium price that we do, but not see a drop in the share price and the profits. And that brings me to our final recommendation, which is to maintain the same structure. So when I'm talking about structure, I'm saying the board structure that we currently have has worked for us. It's gone through a lot of room for improvement, and through sticking to our guns, through everyone working collaboratively, we've been able to put our minds into this area of research and development. One thing that you will notice from our results is that we managed to stick to our guns, and rather than change a lot of things at once, we decided to pick a few things that weren't working and alter them to move into new areas, like Geordie previously mentioned. By doing this, we were able to calculate where the differences were. If we were to go and change everything that we'd done, we wouldn't be able to see where the difference was. It would be too much change at once. So this is something that we need to do in the future as well. Whilst maintaining what we've currently done, when we do involve change, we need to make it slow adjustments to be able to monitor the difference in that change. And when I say change, it's more about us being the leaders of innovation. change is an inevitability in any market these days, and if we're going to continue to climb the market and be market leaders, we need to evolve with that change. So, which is why our main priority is to maintain research and development, so we can maintain that position of being the leaders of innovation. And that brings us to our final point. So, investors, we're happy that we've been able to sell to you for the comfortable price of $133.60. It's a very comfortable position, and we hope to see Delta Signal increase on that in the future by following these recommendations. Which brings us to our final farewell for the night. Presentation from Geordie, Ben, and myself. We want to thank you for giving us your undivided attention, and we hope you found it very insightful.
Thank you.
Good night, investors.